The girl in chains fell from the sky. The sky was clear that day, too quiet for something so loud to break it. The heiress stood on a hill of rusted metal and broken engines. He was a scavenger, searching through old war junk on the edge of the wastelands. The ground shook under his feet. Then a loud roar filled the sky. A fireball raced downward, tearing through the clouds. A ship? No, too small. A pod dot had hit the earth not far from him, throwing sand and dust into the air. Darius didn't run. He grabbed his scanner and moved closer, heart pounding. Most pods falling from orbit meant danger. Or treasure. The wrecked pod hissed and steamed, half buried in the sand. The hatch was stuck. Darius touched the side. It was warm. Something alive was inside. With a hiss, the door finally opened, and she fell out. A girl. Or something like one. She landed in his arms with a soft thud, her body weak and shaking. Chains were wrapped around her wrists and ankles. Her skin was pale blue, glowing faintly. Her silver hair was dirty and matted with blood. Strange markings ran down her face like scars, or maybe they were part of her. She looked up at him, eyes wide and scared. Then she whispered, "Don't let them take me back," and fainted. Darius stared at her in shock. She was no ordinary alien. She looked broken, hurt, but even worse, she was terrified. He checked her pulse. Alive, barely. The chains had strange symbols on them, royal script. He didn't understand them, but he knew one thing. This girl had once been important. Maybe still was. He carried her through the sand, back to his hidden shelter beneath a half-crashed warship. It was old, dark, and filled with scavenged tech, but safe. She didn't wake for hours. When she did, she screamed, "No, no, don't lock me up again." Darius rushed in and held her shoulders gently. "You're safe," he said. "I'm not here to hurt you." She blinked, breathing hard. Her eyes filled with tears. "Where am I?" "Earth outpost. Edge of the dead zone," he said. "I found you." Her lips trembled. I wasn't supposed to survive." "What's your name?" She looked away. "I don't have one anymore." Darius sat beside her. "Then I'll give you one. How about Lyra?" She slowly nodded. He brought her food. She stared at it like she hadn't eaten in days. "Why are you helping me?" she asked softly. "Because you fell out of the sky in chains," he said, and cried for help. She looked at him for a long time. "I'm not pretty," she whispered. "I know that. They told me every day that I was ugly, a mistake." Darius didn't reply, but he saw something in her face, something they must have missed. Not beauty in the normal way, but strength. Deep, buried strength. Later that night, she sat near the small heater and pulled her knees close. "I'm a princess," she said quietly. "At least, I was. Born into the royal bloodline of Varelian Prime. But I wasn't like the others. My face, my skin, everything about me was wrong. They locked me away, said I was cursed, a shame to the throne." Darius frowned. "And those chains?" "They were taking me to the Sun prison," she whispered. "To burn me, slowly. They said it would purify the bloodline." Darius clenched his fists. "But I escaped," she said, "with help from a servant who pitied me. She died buying me time. And now they're hunting me." Darius stood up and looked out of the bunker's window. The stars above shimmered cold and silent. "You're not going back," he said. She looked up. "Why?" "Because no one should ever cry like that again." For a moment, silence passed between them. Then, outside, something moved. A red light blinked in the dust. A small drone hovered, scanning the area, watching. Lyra's eyes widened. "They found me." Darius grabbed his weapon. "They'll never stop," she said, voice trembling, "until I'm ashes." "Then let them come," he said, voice low. "But they'll have to go through me first." The curse they hunted, the red light outside vanished into the dark. Darius locked the bunker door and turned off all external signals. The small drone had seen her. There was no doubt. And if it had seen her, others would follow soon. Lyra sat curled in the corner, her hands still trembling. The glowing chains around her wrists had faded, but faint sparks still pulsed through the metal. They weren't just restraints. They were something older, something alive. "What do they want from you?" Darius asked. "They don't want me," she whispered. "They want what I carry." Darius frowned. "What do you mean?" She looked up at him slowly. Her eyes were filled with a deep sadness. "Inside me is a curse, or a gift. Depends on who you ask." He sat beside her, quiet. "My people once ruled dozens of worlds," she said. "The royal family was born with a special power in the bloodline. It was called the Eclipse Core. It could awaken weapons. Ancient machines buried under planets. Living weapons. Unstoppable." Darius's eyes narrowed. "You can activate them?" Lyra nodded. "But I was never supposed to. My appearance made them ashamed, so they locked me up. But the truth is, my bloodline skipped the others. The core only lives in me now. So they wanted to destroy you." She looked away. "To keep control, to erase the shame and the threat?" Darius leaned forward. "Can you control it?" She didn't answer. Instead, the room grew colder. A strange hum filled the air. Her hands glowed faintly with soft blue light. Dust on the shelves trembled. Lights flickered. Then it stopped. Lyra gasped and pulled her hands back. "I didn't mean to. I'm sorry." "It's okay," Darius said gently. "You're safe here." But even he didn't fully believe that. That night, Darius watched the stars again through the bunker's small upper window. He saw distant flashes in the skyships jumping through orbit. They were closing in. The next morning, he heard the hum of engines low, heavy. Not drones, dropships. He woke Lyra. She opened her eyes with a gasp. "They're here." Outside, the air shimmered with heat as 5 black ships descended through the clouds. From them, soldiers in dark armor marched forward, faces hidden behind black visors. Elite royal hunters. They carried shock rifles and magnetic binds. One of them stepped forward and activated a speaker. "By order of the Varelian Empire, surrender the defective subject. She is classified as a biothreat. Any who hide her will be executed." Darius clenched his fists. "Defective?" He growled. "That's how they see you?" Lyra's voice shook. "If I go, I won't return. They'll end me in secret, then cover it up." Darius turned to her. "Then we don't let them take you." She looked at him, eyes wide. "But you don't even know me." "I know enough," he said. "I've seen your fear, your pain, your power. You're not a weapon. You're a girl who survived too. Much." A voice boomed from outside again. "This is your final warning." Darius smiled. "Then I guess we give them an answer." He opened a hidden panel in the floor. Inside were pulse grenades, MP darts, and a few last resort devices he hoped never to use. "Ever fight side by side with a human before?" he asked. Lyra hesitated, then smiled softly. "Never, but I think I'd like to." Outside, the soldiers moved forward in formation. Inside, a cursed princess and a forgotten scavenger prepared for war god, and above them, in the orbiting Empire flagship, someone whispered, "The core is active." Hunters from her homeworld. The ground shook as the soldiers closed in. Black boots crushed the sand outside Darius's bunker. There were at least 10 of them, maybe more. Their armor gleamed like obsidian, and their movements were sharp, like machines. These were not ordinary troops. They were Pergaburn trained only for one mission: kill without mercy. Inside, Darius checked his last defense systems. Old tech, scavenged parts, some barely held together. But he had modified them with his own. Hands they would hold. For a little while, he looked at Lyra. Her eyes were glowing now, not bright, but steady. She seemed calm, but he knew it was the quiet before a storm. "You okay?" he asked. She nodded. "I won't let them take me. Not again." There was a silence. Then a voice boomed from a loudspeaker outside. "This is Captain Viren of the Varelian Purge Force. Surrender the subject. Her existence violates royal code. You have 10 seconds. Darius grabbed his rifle. Funny how they always give 10 seconds, but shoot after 5. Lyra looked at him. "You don't have to do this." He turned to her, his voice low. "I already did." Outside, the countdown had begun. 5, 4. Darius pressed a button. Click. The outside sand exploded, hidden mines sending. Smoke and shockwaves into the air. Screams followed. He opened a firing slit and launched an on. EMP bolt. 2 soldiers dropped instantly, their armor twitching as sparks flew. Then everything went quiet again, except for the hum, the low, deep hum. Darius turned and froze. Lyra's body was glowing. Her eyes were pure white, and the chains on her wrists were cracking. "Lyra?" he whispered. She looked at him, but her voice sounded different now. Deeper, wiser. They woke something. Outside, the remaining soldiers regrouped. One of them shouted, "She's beginning the merge neutralizer now." They threw a sonic grenade, but before it could hit the ground, it stopped in mid-air. Floating. Darius blinked. So did the soldiers. The grenade hovered, then crushed itself, folding like paper, then exploded backwards toward them. The shockwave sent them flying. Inside the bunker, Lyra collapsed. Darius caught her just before she hit the floor. Her glow faded. Her breathing was rough. "What just happened?" he asked. She coughed. "The core, it's inside me. I didn't control it. It reacted." He looked at her with a mix of fear and awe. "You just reversed a grenade." "I told you," she said weakly. "I'm not safe." Outside, the remaining soldiers fell back, signaling their ship. A voice came through Darius's com screen. "This is Captain Veron. You are harboring a Galactic-class threat. We are authorizing full orbital strike." Darius cursed under his breath. "They're going to level everything." "We have to run," Lyra said. "We can't stay here." He hesitated. "There's a hidden mag train near the ridge. If we can get to it, we can escape underground." But before they could move, something cracked above. The ceiling shook. Rocks fell. A loud thump landed. Near the door, something or someone was trying to break in. Darius raised his weapon. "You still got strength left?" Lyra stood slowly. Her glow returned, just a little. "I'm tired," she said softly, "but I'll fight." The metal door groaned under pressure. Then it burst open. And in stepped the Captain. Captain Veron wasn't like the others. His armor was thicker. His eyes glowed red beneath his mask. His voice was cold. "Found you," he said. Darius fired. Veron caught the plasma bolt with his hand. Lyra stepped forward, her hands glowing, her voice clear. "Captain," she said. "Still hunting children, I see." He tilted his head. "Still breaking the universe with your breath, I see." Darius whispered, "You two know each other?" "He was my father's favorite killer," Lyra said. "He chained me himself." Veron smiled darkly. "And I'll do it again." Lyra raised her hand. The room exploded in blue light. The weapon in her blood, the room was filled with blue fire. Captain Veron flew backward. smashing through the steel wall like he was nothing. Sparks rained from the ceiling. The bunker groaned. Half collapsing under the blast, Darius pulled Lyra close as debris fell all around them. But the blue glow around her kept them safe. Her energy formed a shield, strong and warm like a soft sun. When the dust settled, she stood in the center, her skin still glowing. Her braids floated slightly, as if gravity had forgotten her. Veron groaned outside the broken wall. He wasn't dead. Not yet. Lyra's knees gave out. Darius caught her just in time. "Hey, easy. I've got you," he whispered. "I lost control." She said, tears forming. "I didn't mean to hurt you." "You didn't," he said. "You saved both of us." She looked down at her glowing hands. "This is what they fear. This is why they locked me away. Not because I was ugly, but because I'm dangerous." Darius helped her sit. "No, they were afraid because they knew one day someone like me would stand between them. And you." Outside, Viron activated a signal on his wrist. "This is Viron, confirming target. Core host is active. Requesting cleansing beam from orbit. Target location, Earth Outpost 7 Delta." Lyra heard it. Her face went pale. "The cleansing. Beam will wipe everything in a 10-kilometer radius," she said. "They don't care who dies, even their own soldiers. They'd rather burn the world than let you live?" Darius said in disbelief. She nodded. "They believe my bloodline is cursed. But it's more than that. The core inside me. It's not just energy. It's alive." Darius looked at her. "Alive?" She closed her eyes. "It speaks to me sometimes, in dreams. In moments of pain, it tells me I was born to awaken something buried. A weapon or a memory. Then we stop." "Them," Darius said. He grabbed a device from the wall, a compact jump core. Enough to reach the mag train tunnel in one jump. But Lyra shook her head. "If we run, they'll follow. And next time, they'll destroy more than just this place." She touched the chains still hanging from her wrists. The core pulse inside. Her hummed. "What if I don't run?" she whispered. "What if I finally stand still and listen to what's inside me?" The sky cracked. The flagship moved into position above them. A blinding red light beamed down. Charging for the final strike, Darius stepped in front of her. "Then I stand with you." She looked up at him. "Even if I explode?" He smiled. "Then I explode with someone who finally mattered." She laughed softly, then closed her eyes, and breathed in. The glow returned, but this time it was different. Gentle, controlled. Pure. The broken chains lifted off her arms, crumbled into dust, and floated like silver feathers. Outside, soldiers began to retreat, some falling to their knees in fear. Inside her chest, the core awakened fully. It was not a weapon of destruction. It was a memory keeper. Consciousness holding the ancient power of her ancestors, waiting for someone with compassion to unlock it. And she had. Her body shimmered. Like starlight. Darius looked at her like he was seeing a new galaxy. Then she rose into the air, just a few inches, and raised her hand to the sky. The cleansing beam struck, but it didn't destroy. Instead, it bent. It wrapped around her like water flowing around a rock. The entire bunker shook, but didn't break. Lyra's eyes opened, glowing, gold and blue. The energy inside her had taken control, but it was hers now. She had chosen not to destroy, but to protect. Even Veron stared up from the sand in shock. She shielded the whole outpost, he whispered. That power, it's not meant to exist. Then he ran. Coward. The flagship, sensing failure, vanished into hyperspace. The storm was over. For now, Lyra collapsed in Darius's arms again, her glow fading. But this time, she was smiling. You didn't run. she said softly. Didn't plan to, he whispered back. The heart that chose a monster. The sky above was quiet now, no ships. No soldiers. No more warnings, just wind and silence. Darius sat beside Lyra, watching her sleep. Her breathing was soft, slow. She looked peaceful, but he knew it wouldn't last. The power inside her had calmed, but it had not disappeared. She had saved everyone, stopped an orbital weapon with nothing but her own will. And still, somewhere deep inside, she believed she was a monster. When she woke, she didn't smile. I'm sorry, she whispered, without even opening her eyes. For what? He asked gently. For existing. Darius shook his head. Don't say that. You saw it, she said. I didn't destroy the cleansing beam. I swallowed it. Bent it around me. That's not normal. No, Darius said. It's not. She looked up at him with tired eyes. But maybe that's not bad, he added. Lyra blinked, unsure. You're not a mistake. Lyra, you are never the curse. You were the cure. They just didn't want to accept it. Her eyes welled up with tears. No one ever said that to me, she whispered. Not once. Not my father. Not my teachers. Not even the stars I used to pray to. Well, he said, smiling, the stars must be deaf, but I'm not. For the first time, she reached out and touched his face. Her hand was warm. Thought humans hated our kind, she said softly. I was told you would run if you saw me. I thought? The same about aliens, he replied. She laughed gently. Maybe we were both wrong. A soft silence settled between them, and Lyra said, If I lose control again, will you stop me? Darius didn't answer right away. He looked at her carefully, at her strength, her pain, her fear. Then he said, No. Her breath caught. No, I won't stop you, he said. I'll stand with you. She smiled, and something in her chest eased. Then the ground shook again, soft, distant tremors this time. Darius stood. More dropships? Lyra shook her head, listening closely. No, this sound is older, deeper. She stepped outside the broken bunker and looked at the horizon. Something was coming. Not a ship. A pulse. A deep vibration flowing through the chew. Earth like a wave. She knelt and touched the sand. Her fingers lit up. The core is calling to something, she said. Something buried beneath this world. Darius looked at her in disbelief. You mean there's more? She nodded. I was never just a weapon. I was a key. A key to what? She didn't answer. Instead, she looked at him and whispered, If you follow me now, there's no turning back. Darius took one step forward, and another, until he stood beside her. Lead the way, princess. She took his hand. For the first time, she didn't feel cursed, or hated, or alone. For the first time, she felt chosen. She was never meant to be loved until a human held her. The ground whispered beneath their feet. Each step they took, the vibrations grew stronger. It wasn't just sound, it was memory. Old, alive, waiting. Lyra led Darius across the dead land, past broken metal spires and fallen satellites. The skies above them remained quiet. No ships, no soldiers. Just the wind. And something ancient calling from beneath. Finally, they reached it. A circular platform of black stone, hidden beneath the sands, glowing with patterns that pulsed in time with Lyra's heartbeat. This, she whispered, was built before the Empire. Before even my bloodline ruled. Darius looked at her. You sure it's safe? She shook her head. Nothing about this has ever been safe. She stepped onto the platform. The moment her foot touched it, the glow intensified. Blue, gold, white. And then a voice. It didn't come from the air. It came from inside her. Host accepted. Memory lineage. Verified. Final seal dot unlocked. Her eyes widened. Her body lifted into the air, glowing brighter than ever before. Symbols wrapped around her arms. Her skin shimmered like a galaxy dot Darius. Stepped back in awe dot from deep underground. The earth cracked. A pillar rose, an enormous artifact, shaped like a blooming flower of crystal and steel. Inside it, images flickered. Not weapons. Memories, thousands. Millions. The core wasn't meant to destroy, that it was made to remember everything that had been lost. All the lives burned in silence. All the voices erased by war. And Lyra was the last. Carrier of it all. Tears streamed down her face, not of pain, but peace. Then she began to fall. Darius ran forward and caught her in his arms. Before she hit the ground. Her light faded. Her breathing slowed. "No," he whispered. "Stay with me." She looked up at him, weak but smiling. "It's done," she said softly. "The world remembers again." He held her tightly. "You did it. You brought it back. I wasn't meant to be loved, Darius." She whispered. "I was meant to be locked away, used, feared." He held her tighter. "They were wrong. But you? You looked at me like I was something more. You are. You saved me." Darius smiled, voice breaking. "No, you saved us all." Above them, the skies shifted. The Empire's fleet turned away. The memory beacon had activated. Billions across the stars now felt a truth pouring into their minds. What was hidden could no longer be denied. The truth of what they did to her. To others like her. And the story of a broken alien girl who rose from chains. And changed everything. She leaned her head against Darius's chest. And for the first time in her life, she said the words, "I'm not afraid anymore." He whispered back, "You don't have to be. I'm right here." And he was. A human who chose a so-called monster. And in the end, the galaxy would remember her not for her curse, but for the man who held her like royalty when no one else would.